What's up, everybody? This is the one, Bry Guy, chiming in to recap the Eagles' Week 5 win at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, being real technical for some odd reason. As the Eagles now improved to 5-0 for the second consecutive year, and for the first time in team history, they've gone back-to-back seasons with a perfect 5-0 start. But we'll touch more on that later. And you would think with the Birds being 5-0, I'd be a little more happier. Well, I can guarantee you, had I recorded this that day, Sunday evening, and posted it Monday morning, yeah, you would have seen me in ecstatic spirits. If that's really a phrase. You would have seen me ecstatic. You would have seen me in high spirits, flying high like the Eagles. Because the Birds are 5-0, and the Cowboys got a major ass whooping, which we'll also touch on. But I decided to record the episode tonight, which is now Monday night, about a little after 9:30 Eastern Time. I know there was a Monday night game tonight, Packers-Raiders, but who gives a crap about that matchup? Both teams are kind of searching for themselves. So you're probably wondering, why do I look pissed off? Why do I sound melancholy? Like, why do I feel like, a hot date just canceled on me at the last second or, told me we're splitting up? I just watched the Phillies drop Game 2 in Atlanta. But the thing that really burns me the most is that they had a 4-0 lead. And I let myself get cocky, arrogant. I got a big head. I dare to think that they would win this game and go on and sweep the series, but nope. I don't know where the fuck they went wrong, but fucking Atlanta came back. I mean, give them credit where their credit's due. It's a remarkable comeback for them, a much-needed win for them at home, not to go down 2-0 to electrifying Citizens Bank Park and that ruckus crowd of Philadelphia faithful. But, come on, I'm a Phillies fan. I hate the fucking Braves, especially their fucking overrated fan base. One of the most obnoxious fan bases in the league, in all sports. Because it's like, come on. Like, fuck off. Ain't no such thing as a true Atlanta Braves fan. Alright, you know what? That's really not fair. I'm just speaking out of anger. So I take that all back. Sorry. It's just, god damn it. When you see your team choke a big lead, well, I guess 4-0's not a big lead, but still. It's like, when you see your team choke a fucking lead at any point and lose the way they did, especially when it was in the 8th. Like, they had a 4-0 lead, and the Braves got a run in the 6th. I believe, was it 2 in the 7th, or was it 2 more in the 8th? Either way, they got the go-ahead lead with a 2-run shot by Austin Riley. And then, fucking A. Michael Harris II made a remarkable catch out in deep center field. I believe it was off Nick Castellanos. It's like, god damn it, the ball was just fucking maybe 2 feet shy of going out for another go-ahead home run. And Harper thought that he was either going to drop it or not get there in time because he already was past second base. And when Harris caught it, Harper, try as he could, is not Sonic the Hedgehog, couldn't get back to first base in time. He got fucking doubled off, and the game ends right there. And then just to watch how the Braves and their fans celebrate like they just won the fucking pennant. And that's what fucking makes me sick. That's like, I shouldn't be that way. I shouldn't be a bitter little bitch baby. Because that's a remarkable come-from-behind win for them. And then to hold on and, get the Phillies out the way they did. Because, hey, like, let's be honest. The Braves are probably the favorites in the series, but they know what they're facing with the Phillies. They saw it last year, and now they got to go back to Citizens Bank Park for 2 games. But still, fuck you, Atlanta. I fucking hate you. I mean, I think what I hate the most about Braves and their fans, and I know, I just apologized and I'm going right back to it, but they act like they know what it's like to suffer. Like, fuck off. You guys had a decade of dominance. Oh, sure, you only won 1 World Series, but you won a World Series at least. You got 2 more than us Phillies fans got the pleasure of knowing. And you won one just 2 years ago against the same team that my team fell short to. So, yeah, forgive me if I don't think Braves fans need anything this year. You can afford to maybe suffer another couple years. Like to see the Phillies get another one. Then you guys can have your turn. Or maybe the Marlins or the Mets or whoever else has been going without a World Series for a while. But enjoy Game 2 win. Enjoy your Game 2 win, because you won Game 2 last year. We all know how it played out. So let's see what happens at Citizens Bank Park. If the Braves can find some way to silence that crowd and take 1 game out of there, I'll be impressed. But I'll guarantee this. Somehow if they get past the Phillies, you ain't fucking getting past the D-backs. You'll get snake bit. Pun. Ba-doop-ps. What, am I just simply writing off the Dodgers? Yes! They ain't got the pitching to stop Arizona. They seriously got snake bit. But I don't want to spend too much time talking about freaking baseball playoffs. I mean, we'd be here forever. Well, not really. I just want to now jump into what I really like talking about, pro football. So yeah, let's get into something that'll make me happy. Like, what the fuck happened, Dallas? Like, holy shit. And you see me not laughing. Like, you see I'm slightly smiling, but I'm not laughing at you. Because I'm more stunned. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I always thought you guys were a little overhyped. Like, you had a good defense, but we all know what Prescott can be like. He's either good or he's really bad. And your offense is, like B plus teetering on A at best. But, wow, the 49ers just lit you the fuck up. Like, holy shit. I was like, I just couldn't believe how badly y'all got whooped. Like, it's so bad, I really can't laugh at you. Because that's how bad I felt for you. And if anything, if that's how bad you looked against the Niners, you better believe I'm fucking nervous as hell now for when the Eagles have to face them. Only saving grace is that Eagles are going to have the home field against them. So hopefully by then, Philadelphia gets their shit figured out and can play like a more well-oiled machine like San Francisco. Yeah, I know what you're all thinking. Have some faith in your team. Well, I'd like to have faith and hope, but I have thoughts, I'm not a delusionist, I'm not going to lie myself into saying they'll win this game. I mean, they have a chance. Anyone always has a chance going into the game, but come on. Like, on paper, you never know how it's going to play out, And, hey, you never know, the Eagles could stun them. I mean, we've had a lot of stunners this past weekend in pro football, and it's freaking insane. I mean, going back to Thursday night with the Bears pounding Washington 40-20, and you got to credit that to the passing of Dick Butkus. All the Chicago Bears were afraid he'd come haunt their nightmares if they lost another game. Hoy. And in the London series, The Jaguars are 2-0 across the pond as they hang on to stun the Bills 25-20. And I'm like, how did Jacksonville win that game? Like, Buffalo didn't really play that bad. Like, Allen only had one critical mistake. But other than that, the Jaguars just plain outplayed them. Fucking insane. What other crazy results turned out? We had the Steelers stunning the Ravens 17-10 in a very ugly. You know what? Ugly's an ugly word. It was a typical Ravens Steelers game. You know, mainly defense. Both offenses underperformed, and somehow the Steelers pulled out a win to stun the Ravens. And that's the funny thing. It's like the Steelers beat the Browns. They now beat the Ravens. So the Steelers can't beat anybody else, but they're bound and determined to be an absolute pest of their own division. The Bengals looked like the fucking Bengals finally as they blew out Arizona 34-20. Thank God I didn't bench Joe Burrow. Although it still didn't do me any good. I'm still going to lose this fucking week, so I think that might be my third in a row after starting out 2-0, so now I know what a Commanders fan feels like. Oh, boy. Well, let's see. What was another one? The Falcons. What the fuck, Houston? How did they lose to Atlanta? I mean, it's not entirely surprising, but it's surprising. So is Atlanta good or bad? I don't know. Or maybe, both these teams are too early to tell, They're like, a piece of raw fruit. They're not quite ripe yet on either side. Hey. Well, since I'm going through scores, I might as well whip out my notes so I can quite recall all of them. So, Jags, Bills, we touched on. Dolphins blow out the Giants. Nothing really significant there to talk about. I know the Dolphins set all kinds of records and everything, but I really didn't think to write them down. Stupid me. I think Daniel Jones got hurt too, a neck injury or something. Don't know the full extent yet, but hope he's all right because, feel sorry for him enough. Oh, yeah, here was another score that stunned me. The Saints blow out and shut out the Patriots 34-0. I mean, I really thought this would be a tight defensive slugfest because both these teams were mirror each other in statistics, both offensively and defensively. Low-scoring offenses, very stingy defenses. Oh, apparently Bill Belichick's crew didn't get that memo. And I guess for the second straight week, he sat out Mac Jones like deep in the game and started the other guy. Zappy, I think his name is. And already the word is going around social media. Should this be the final year for Bill Belichick? Will he be asked to step down? Will he step down of his own accord? And I tell you what, at this point, if I'm Bill Belichick, hang it up. What do you got to prove? You've been to a gajillion Super Bowls. You've won 6 of them with the Patriots. A couple as an a defensive coordinator with the New York Giants back in the Bill Parcells era. So, what more left does Belichick have to prove? Well, we all know what it is. It's his ego. He wants to try and show that he can win without Tom Brady. And he can't. And, I would divulge more into Belichick's credentials and full credibility for the Patriots dynasty of the past 2 decades. But I think that's a rant for a whole nother video. So we'll see if I have time to delve more into that. And should we throw some dirt on Belichick's quote unquote Hall of Fame career. I know that sounds kind of sleazy and a little under the, a little low below the belt, but we're all thinking it. Come on, get real. Let's see. The Lions blow out the Panthers. Whoop-de-doo. Was there anything really significant to talk about in that game? I don't think so. It's like the Lions are still kicking ass. Panthers are still winless, so good news, New England fans. You're not technically the worst team in the league. I reserve that right to the Panthers. So let's see. The Panthers, the Bears, the Broncos, the Patriots. Let's see. There's our top 4 worst teams so far. Who's number 5? Oh, Jets. Yeah, duh. Yeah, the Falcons-Texans game. I touched on that. The Colts won a close one against the Titans, 23-16. Anthony Richardson unfortunately had to leave that game with I think a shoulder injury, but I don't know the extent. We'll know more tomorrow after Week 5 has settled in, after the dust in Week 5 has settled down, and we can all reflect and regroup. So hopefully he's okay, because he's been doing well, keeping the Colts in ball games and actually giving Indianapolis something to look forward to down the road. Oh yeah, I mentioned the Bengals blowing out the Cardinals. The Chiefs. You know, everyone keeps talking about my Eagles being sluggish. How about Kansas City? They haven't exactly looked like the team from last year as well. So maybe both the Birds and the Chiefs took it all out of each other. You know, back in the desert, and they're still trying to recuperate. So the Chiefs hang on for a 27-20 win over the Vikings. Trying to recall if there was anything I wanted to talk about in that game. I feel like there was, but darn it. I guess I should have made another note of it, but no, nothing's coming to mind. I mean, you want to say you knew Kansas City would win that game, but I don't know. Everything's been kind of going against them so far, so you never know about that anymore, or this season in general. This is one of those seasons where logic just isn't going to add up. It's like, you think you know that team, you think you know how this game should play out. It's like, there's the numbers, and it just doesn't mean anything. It's any given Sunday, it's any given day at this point. Oh yeah, the New York Jets defeat the Denver Broncos 31-21. A late game turnover that pretty much sealed the Broncos' fate. One Wilson out, well, I don't think either Wilson had a good game. I guess Nathaniel Hackett gets his payback. That'll teach Sean Payton to run his mouth. And boy, I tell you what, Sean Payton is looking at probably a one-and-done coaching season in Denver. And it's kind of sad because especially the job he did with the Saints back in the day, but it's about the same as Bill Belichick, you know, like who gets more of that credit, Peyton or Breeze? So there's another debate for another time. I'll touch more on the Cowboys-Niners game, maybe. All I know is that finally Kittle found the end zone, got a hat trick and touchdown passes, and it still wasn't enough to help me in fantasy, doggone it. It's like I needed him to get at least one more touchdown catch. I needed Dallas's defense to do a little more. I needed Burrow to have more points. I mean, son of a gun. I was like, who was it that killed me? The guy I was playing. Oh yeah, he had Justin Fields and DJ Moore, who both decided to finally go off and freaking kill me as well. But all right, Eagles fans, let's get to what I want to discuss. The Eagles are now 5-0 as they prevail in Los Angeles 23-14 over the Rams. And well, let me just say this. I think the Birds have got to be the most frustrating 5-0 team in NFL history. Yes, and probably the most unconvincing. Because all their games have been close. They play down to competition. It's clear they're still making adjustments. You know, everybody trying to figure things out, get comfortable with a few roles. You can just tell something's off. And it's weird because it's like once the offense starts clicking, they click. But boy, they know how to go cold just like that and commit some kind of play that you're left scratching your head about. Like the other day, like, you know, this past game in LA. Like Jalen Hurts throws he throws that deep bomb and just lays it up there like a pot, like like a floater, and it allows, the ball gets picked off. I mean, Nick Sirianni called him out on the sideline for good reason, because that was a bad pass. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. It looked like he deliberately lobbed that thing, and it stayed up there forever, and it got picked off. I mean, give credit where the credit's due, because the Eagles' defense clearly showed up to play. So far, they've actually been the only solid unit so far. I mean, they look good against Tampa. They look good, the other day in Inglewood. So I don't know. Maybe the defense plays its best when it's on the road. Doesn't have to worry about the pressure of the Rams booing them when they start fucking up. Which I guarantee you is what the offense is going to hear if they don't get shit figured out. Like, we saw Jalen Hurts take off a couple times. Finally, like Brian Johnson's finally figuring out he's got a stud of a mobile quarterback. Use him more. Trust him more. I get it. Like, you don't want quarterbacks to run around a lot because they're the most valuable commodity on the field. But if you got one as athletic and good as Hurts, maybe you ought to just, whatever. What do I freaking know? I'm just the guy sitting here I'm just the guy sitting here, spilling his 2 cents, thinking what he thinks is going to happen compared to everybody else. Let's see. I lost my train of thought. Where to pick up? Well, let me convey my notes here. Let's see. I was saying that the Eagles are the most unconvincing 5-0 team in NFL history, as opposed to the 49ers, who are a well-oiled machine and just kicking everybody's butt right now. So, yeah, like, Brian Johnson, our offensive coordinator, better figure out how this offense is going to work if the Eagles are going to have any hope of taking down oh wait, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. Well, yeah. So yeah, I've totally derailed myself. I apologize. So yeah, there's time before the 49ers. Like, they still got a whole bunch of other games and tough opponents coming up. Hoy. But yeah, let's dive a little more into that Eagles-Rams game. Dallas Goedert had his biggest game of the year so far. 8 receptions, 117 yards. He had the game's opening touchdown. The Rams, I believe, came right back and tied it up. The Eagles then kicked a field goal, and the Rams scored of like about 30 seconds before the first half ended. So they were up 14-10. No, I don't think Puka had that touchdown. I think it was the other guy. Tutu Atwell, yeah. So, Stafford hooked up with Tutu to give the Rams their first and only lead of the game. And in just 30 seconds, Eagles march right down the field, aided by a couple of pass interference penalties. A.J. Brown, just too much for that Rams secondary to handle. And, of course, the automatic Philly shove, brotherly shove, whatever you want to call it. The Eagles tush-push. Jalen Hurts scores a 1-yard rushing touchdown that pretty much gives the Birds the lead for good. And then both teams were pretty much done scoring touchdowns after that. The Eagles defense, you shut the Rams out in the second half, a team that has like a lot of explosive receivers, and you guys did a pretty damn good job keeping them in line. I mean, granted, yeah, Cooper Kupp's first game back, he was a little rusty, but still, you never know. But at least the Birds defense showed up to play. The offense, they're still trying to figure crap out. And they're still 5-0. I don't get it. How are they still undefeated when this offense is so out of sync? It's insane. Like, you saw the frustration with Jason Kelce today. That's like, who blames them? It's like, come on, this team was a damn stud from start to finish last year. And this team looks like it's still trying to ignite the flame. So I don't know how they're 5-0. I mean, it helps that, a lot of their teams are like contenders who can make the playoffs, but nothing like, the 49ers. And at this rate, I really don't know who the dominant team in the AFC is. It's like you could say Miami, but then they stun you with their losses. So, who knows? Yeah, who knows anymore? Ah. But yeah, like I said, the Eagles now 5-0 for the second straight season. That is a franchise record that they have started back-to-back years 5-0, so that's good. Yeah, the birds can be their own worst enemy. I think I pretty much well touched on that. Let's see. Yeah, more into it, Jalen Hurts' ill-advised decision making. Like when he threw that lob up to the corner of the end zone and it got picked off. First of all, why the fuck are you lobbying it? I don't get it. Like, why even do that? But he did. And now it's probably all, it's probably all solid up and too much air or whatever. Yeah, Eagles dominated time of possession, 37-55 to the Rams 22-05. Eagles had over 454 total yards on the game to the Rams 249. But yet the game was still close because the Birds just don't know how to put anybody away. Like, the defense has kind of got it together, but the offense is still just like scratch my freaking head frustrating to figure out. Oy. Let's see. Well, the Eagles didn't have Fletcher Cox for this game, but as you could tell, his presence wasn't really missed at all. Hassan Reddick got to take the cast off finally, and he was effective from start to finish, especially with those two critical downs that pretty much turned the ball over on downs and pretty much preserved the win for the Eagles. With that being said, Hassan Reddick is my player of the game. I strongly suggest he should be the player of the game for everybody. As I said earlier, it was his 2 sacks that pretty much made all the difference. All right, so a few stats mainly for the Eagles offense. Jalen Hurts went 25 of 38 in the game with 303 yards, a touchdown pass, and of course that questionable interception return. Sorry, I was just looking to see if maybe I missed any scores, but no, we pretty much covered them all. I'll post a different video when I want to start going over the other games that are coming up and giving my 2 cents on that part. But yeah, this was a wacky week 5 in the NFL. Didn't help me out in making selections or joining the Denver draft. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? But congratulations to the Birds. As frustrating as it is trying to figure you guys out, you're still 5-0. They are still 5-0, so that's something to keep in perspective. We pretty much touched on all these scores, so I think the only thing left to do is to wrap it up here. Like, I am trying to think if I'm forgetting something. I honestly don't think I am. But, alright. I'm going to get going while the getting's good, which is what Belichick should have done several years ago after Brady retired. Anywho, I'll be talking to y'all later. If I find any time down this week, I'll try to post a video giving my picks on who I think will win this upcoming weekend. There are a lot of interesting matchups coming up in week 6. Alrighty, everybody. Hope you all have a good night. Hopefully the Phillies bounce back in games 3 and 4 at home. They freaking better. And Brian Johnson, yeah, again, like you're getting there, but every now and then you're still having the offense do something that just makes me, want to. But yeah. Also, how does never mind. I was about to rant on something else. So, all right, everybody. This is the Bry Guy signing off for the night. Y'all have a good one. If you watch this video, I appreciate it greatly. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a like if you would, if you like the video. If you got any advice for me, I'm more than gladly to accept it. And alrighty, we are finally gonna punch out. Okay, so everybody have a good week. Let's go Phillies and let's go Eagles. Still flying high, baby. Eagles. Oh yeah.